Ian Strung here with another CanCon Classic spot. Today we will be profiling Mustard Junkies, Mississauga's punk power trio with chops to burn. Matthew Madden of the Mustard Junkies will introduce the band's version of David Wilcox's Riverboat Fantasy, performed live at the Doc Ellis in Toronto October 28th, 2023. But first, here's brand new Mustard Junkies, not released on streaming yet. Here's Serpent of the Wound. Turn it up. That was Serpent of the Wound by Mustard Junkies. On October 28th of this year, my band Cold Dead Hands CA was booked to play the Doc Ellis for promoters STMV, but our guitarist Wes couldn't make it. I didn't want to give up the slot, so I decided to do my only ever performance of material from the CanCon Classics album and play it as Grand Fenwick, the backing track coming out of a bass amp from an iPod Shuffle, and me singing and playing guitar. The gig was not well attended, but videos of the event on Grand Fenwick's Instagram earned likes from the original artists, even Stephen Page, and my cover of Bare Naked Ladies' Alternative Girlfriend got over 800 views. This was Halloween, and I was dressed as Kraftwerk. The other bands on the bill were Dreaded Rebels, Lip Crunch, and Mustard Junkies. Mustard Junkies said they were going to do a Canadian cover, David Wilcox's Riverboat Fantasy. So even though I had my own performance to do, I got ready to grab the track with my Zoom H4n. It turns out I've already seen Mustard Junkies before. They were at the Pre-Talks show June 30th of this year at the Bovine Sex Club, where I grabbed Pre-Talks' version of New Orleans' Sinking by the Tragically Hip. Matthew Madden wasn't wearing glasses then, and he was now, so he was Clark Kent, basically. Suddenly I started remembering what a slaying guitarist this guy was. Watching the again, I was kind of blown out of the water in terms of lead guitar and general chops. These Mustard Junkies may be addicted to mustard, I'm not really sure, but they sure can play. Check this out, this is Stumble on Home, brand new Mustard Junkies. That was Stumble on Home by Mustard Junkies. It turns out Mustard Junkies also played release shows for the punk rock zine Crap Nation, which I wrote for a couple of years leading up to the pandemic. I had a column called CRT Corner. If you want to read about my video game period, go to facebook.com/CRT Diary. That stands for cathode ray tube, the pre-flat screen type of television monitor. Mustard Junkies fall under the punk banner, but there are a lot more influences here on display than straight punk. Matthew Madden is an extremely good guitarist, and he whips out techniques that require him to listen to 70s rock that might have been considered antithetical to punk back in the day, blues rock conventions like unison Led Zeppelin-style riffing with the bass, and even slide guitar stuff. But when they do furious punk riffs, it's real punk, so I find when I listen to the Mustard Junkies there's this, not contradiction, but amalgam of previous styles. It's whatever rocks, and that's totally in the spirit of today's punk music scene. Because of the internet and the fact that people can listen to whatever they want whenever they want, it's stupid to be too tribal like people had to be in the 20th century when these genres were created. Anything heavy and rocking with distorted guitar, bass, and drums is going to be basically the same thing in the mind of a guitar player. You don't relearn your instrument to play a different rock subgenre. It's nice that people don't need purism anymore and everything is accepted in the world of indie punk, which is what the entire Toronto music scene has morphed into at the same venues that used to house non-punk indie bands. As I was saying earlier, watching Mustard Junkies on stage, they seriously slay on their instruments. There were lead guitar techniques on display that I wouldn't be able to do myself, and it was all in the name of big, loud fun, so I really appreciate these guys. Here's one last original from Mustard Junkies, and then we'll talk David Wilcox. Here's Say My Name.
Just let
That was Say My Name by Mustard Junkies. I was just saying that the Mustard Junkies clearly listen to and know how to play classic rock, and so it makes sense they would cover someone like David Wilcox. Age 74 and born in Montreal, Wilcox is a boomer playing in the first wave of big distorted guitar rock. This entire genre, something so culturally invisible that we might not even think of it as a genre at all, this playing of fully distorted guitars over bass and drums, is not that old. In Back to the Future 1, Marty McFly plays this modern type of electric guitar to a 1950s audience, and they don't recognize it as music at all. It's kind of weird to think about this, but guitar distortion that flows like a tap of electricity did not exist in any form within one person's lifetime ago. Now, that's all anyone plays, but the first real modern rock band with what are now standard electric guitar techniques on both rhythm and lead was Cream back in 1966. That's Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, and Ginger Baker. Jimi Hendrix soon followed a year later. Then you had players like Joe Walsh and James Gang, of course Jeff Beck, and Montreal's David Wilcox would have been alive and learning guitar at around this time. Classic Canadian artist Ian and Sylvia's band The Great Speckled Bird featured Wilcox, and he played with Anne Murray as well, another legendary Canadian, and even the likes of Carl Perkins, an early guitar great, Paul Butterfield, who appeared in the band's Last Waltz, Todd Rundgren, who produced The Pursuit of Happiness and Meatloaf, and even John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin. This was all before David Wilcox's solo career, which started in 1977. When you listen to Wilcox, what you hear on display is a genius lead guitarist singing at the same time and delivering sound effects that punctuate the song. This is the 70s, so think of how Peter Frampton used his talk box, or how Queen would rig their guitars to sound like horns. AC/DC had a guitar spotlight, siren, and machine gun in their Jailbreak tune. This was something that was cool and sold records. Do the Bearcat is a great example of this, where Wilcox's guitar does meowing to represent the Bearcat. Lyrics are blues-based, soloing is blues-based, and to bring it back to Mustard Junkies, the presence of real blues modalities in their music is what suggests that their taste goes back further than the original punk, because punk, especially 90s to present, is generally in a major key only, and usually with lead guitar octaves only, no soloing. I'm going to turn it over to Madden to introduce Mustard Junkies' cover of David Wilcox's Riverboat Fantasy. Over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Ian. You're the man. Who's got your belly? The song you're about to hear is a rendition of Riverboat Fantasy by David Wilcox. My old man told me a story once. He was at a bar, he saw David Wilcox, and after the gig, he goes to take a leak. The guy next to him goes, "Hey man, what'd you think of the band?" And he goes, "Yeah, they're pretty good. And David Wilcox looks like shit." Turns out it was David Wilcox standing next to him. He didn't even realize. We are the Mustard Junkies. We've got a 6-song EP coming out before the end of the year with a banging new video for the first single already in the can. It's called Serpent of the Wound. Look for it on YouTube. Get that algorithm pumping. And wherever you stream your music, you can find us. Cheers.
Wilcox for Canadian Music Week. Sitting on a riverboat, having a party, being my kids and queen. She's doing 21 on Mississippi River, getting out of New Orleans. The year is 2094.
That was Riverboat Fantasy by David Wilcox, performed by Mustard Junkies, recorded live at the Doc Ellis in Toronto, Saturday, October 28th, 2023. That's all for this week. Remember to follow me on Instagram at Ian Strung, check out my original music at Cold Dead Hands CA, and check out my album of CanCon covers at Grand Fenwick. Stay tuned as well later in the episode to hear a remastered spot from last year. Cheers!